against Canberra.
Over the page, we'll have a look at Boleyn's numbers, led, of course, by Cam Bates. 9 rebounds, not quite a double-double. What did you make of Elise Penaluna? 6 points and 3 rebounds for her, but she's always in a dangerous spot.
Well, I think she probably would be a little bit disappointed in some of her finishes there. I think she had the opportunity to probably score a little bit more. She's a good partner with Liz, as Liz mentioned, as all the bigs are. She still needs to be defended, but yeah, she probably could have contributed a little bit more.
And as we look at the Dandenong numbers, Abby Bishop exploded in the second half for 23 points. We're not really sure where exactly that came from. Tracy Gahan, unsurprisingly, 12 and 10. I liked Foley's game. She was aggressive throughout, and Kathleen McLeod just couldn't quite finish at times in the second quarter. But, Laurie, I want to come back to your work you did at the start of the game, where you had 3 keys for the game: Boleyn's size, physicality, and mental toughness. And I've got to say, having watched that game, I reckon you pegged it. And all of those measures went Boleyn's way.
Well, they did, and you know, Boleyn used their size superbly. They didn't let the physicality bother them. I thought they showed a lot of poise, and I thought just anytime there was a momentum swing, and there wasn't a lot, Boleyn just maintained. They kept their game face on and were mentally tough throughout that whole game.
All right, well, there's a pretty big gap between these two sides. It'll be interesting to see how the Rangers come back from this over the next few weeks. Coming up, we've still got a few other games in the WNBL to complete Week 14. The AIS take on the West Coast Waves. AIS shock winners last week, as we've already spoken about. Townsville play Adelaide, Sydney Uni play Logan, and that is far and away the most important game on that page. The Flames must win that if they're to keep their finals hopes alive, and Logan have to win that if they're to try and reach 3rd spot on the ladder. Next week, well, that will be a vital game. West Coast have been great. We're looking forward to seeing Tully Bevilacqua take on Christy Harrow again, and the Bendigo Spirit must win as well.
Well, they will, and it'll be their home court. They've had a bye this week, so any little niggling injuries, they have had a good break for them. I'm sure as the week progresses, we'll get an update on Christy Harrow, because she's absolutely crucial. But I would think that Bendigo will just be throwing everything at West Coast to come up with that victory.
Join us then. But coming up next on ABC TV is the W League. The football continues and right around the country, and that's fantastic stuff, the coverage there. Stephanie Bratz and the team. But we look forward to you joining us once more in Bendigo next week. We hope you enjoyed the coverage today.
Rescue.
We plan to land on the beach and Skip's coming on.
The situation is critical.
He's just tough as nails and brave.
And the pressure is well and truly on.
Lapsing in and out of consciousness, is that correct?
Just another day in the office for Chopper Rescue. Friday night, ABC 1.
But all we want in Laos is peace, not war.
Laos is the most intensely bombed country in the history of air war.
A story excluded from the history books.
With the help of a falsified map, Kennedy played up the communist threat.
And nobody knew about it.
The secret war grew into the largest operation in CIA history.
The U.S. Air Force was dropping bombs every 8 minutes.
The most secret place on Earth. 9:30 Monday.
It remains the defining image of the 1968 Olympic Games. American sprinters Tommy Smith and John Carlos performed their controversial salute. Australian athlete Peter Norman became an active part of that protest.
By the actions that they took, what could have been for them a moment of personal glory, they sacrificed that personal glory to the good of the cause.
Salute, Wednesday 9:30, ABC 2.
Australians affected by the recent flooding need your help. To find out how best to make a donation, go online to abc.net.au/emergency or qld.gov.au/floods or ring 1-800-219-028.
The infinite beauty of the ocean amazes me. From the tiniest thing like a fish scale, the colours, right through to a majestic blue whale. I've had a whale move its fin out of the way to let me pass by. It's pretty humbling. It makes you think about what the word caring really means.
With just 2 rounds of the regular season remaining, the top 3 spots are all but confirmed. 4th is still up for grabs, but Newcastle arrive in Queensland determined to make it theirs. Now, the Brisbane Roar are assured of finals football, but certainly a win would bring some happiness to local fans who've had precious little to smile about in recent weeks. It's Brisbane Roar hosting the Newcastle Jets.
As the 3rd season of the W League reaches its conclusion, a vital match. High-flying Brisbane Roar take on the competitive Newcastle Jets. It's round 11 of the W League, Brisbane versus Newcastle.
Hello and welcome to Ballymore Stadium. I'm Stephanie Branson. The W League has returned to the Sunshine State after the Lady Roar were forced to relocate their match last week due to the floods that engulfed much of southeast Queensland. No such problem for the Lady Reds. They were able to play at home at Hindmarsh, but they were unable to beat the Glory. Canberra hosted today's visitors, and though Tara Andrews was again on the score sheet for the Jets, it wasn't enough. And Brisbane, as we mentioned, played their home game away in Melbourne, where the victory managed to hold the front runners to a draw. Now, that won't affect Brisbane's chances of finals football, but as the Roar have a bye next round, it certainly opened the door for Sydney FC to clinch the premiership. Newcastle, well, they can still mathematically make the finals, but they need all 3 points today, and they'd have to hope that Melbourne and Perth slip up to keep that hope alive. Well, with Alicia Ferguson away at present, Amy Taylor steps into commentary. Welcome. Good to see you again, Amy. In different weeks for these two sides last round, they've got a point to prove today.
They're both out for the win today, Steph, but for different reasons. Brisbane will be looking for the 3 points to stay ahead of Sydney FC on the ladder and hopefully pick up the premiership. The Newcastle team is still in with a chance of those semis and will be looking to put itself in the best possible position.
Sure, but Brizzy do need all 3 points and they're missing 2 key players.
They sure are. Claire Polkinghorn and Elise Kellard-Knight are missing from this lineup. They still have a rock-solid defence, though, and those wing-backs love to come forward. There's quality all over the park here and some serious speed and strike power up front, not to mention the likes of Devana.
Certainly. Well, they want goals at one end, but a clean sheet at the other would do them no harm at all, and that will be part of Kim Carroll's job, and the Raw defender caught up with Peter Wilkins a short time ago.
Yeah, it's obviously going to be a new game today. It's not going to be the same as last time. We've got a few players out and, yeah, totally new game, so we'll see how we go.
Well, how are you going to go without those 2 players, major forces?
Yeah, it'll be different without them. They're 2 big key players in our team, but we've got other players in our team that can cover them and do their job. So,
well, Newcastle, they were soundly beaten last time they faced the Raw, but Amy, since then they've seriously discovered how to find the back of the net.
They sure have, and this is perhaps a team that has underachieved a little this season. The lineup includes a number of former Matildas, the likes of Nielsen and Crawford, and current Matilda Thea Slatcher in defence. One to watch apart from that is the speed up front of Tara Andrews, the number 7. She has managed to find the net a couple of times in the past fortnight.
Yeah, just a couple. She's been on fire. Melissa Furrigal was one of the Jets players also on target in recent weeks, and she also caught up with Wilco a little earlier.
We still believe we have a chance, win the next 2 games and we can get up there.
And what have you got to do to beat Brisbane, a team the Jets haven't beaten yet in the W League, and you've conceded plenty of goals? An early goal will be helpful.
Yeah, definitely an early goal, but we're going to just play our game, and the lead up to the training sessions, we feel pretty confident.
Yeah, certainly an interesting match ahead, and neither team can really afford to drop points on this one. Well, it is time for kickoff, so I'll hand you over to your commentary team of Peter Wilkins and Amy Taylor.
And the game just underway here at Ballymore under bright sunny skies, thankfully, Newcastle and Brisbane. And we're looking for a sparkling match between these 2 teams, with Newcastle having a lot to play for today. The Newcastle Jets have much to play for, looking for a semi-final position on the back of pretty disastrous scoreline last week, but the coach Wayne O'Sullivan not that unhappy with the performance, considering it was 4-1. Now the early shot coming in, safely held by Casey Dumont. So Amy Taylor, Brisbane on paper looked to be the team despite the loss of their two key players today, and Claire Polkinghorne and Elise Keller-Knight. They have too much firepower for Newcastle, but a side with some desperation on board is quite often hard to hold out.
That's right, Wilco. Look, after no training last week, Brisbane failed to find the net in their game last weekend. So this week, with a full week of training under its belt, they'll be focusing on that final third and finishing. So looking for the strikers to make the most of all their opportunities today. Newcastle, on the other hand, a tough job. Really need to go out with a take-it-to-them attitude, put the pressure on, and hope they don't run out of steam late in the game.
Well, last week, a bad start from Newcastle. They conceded a goal after just 3 minutes of play as they try and string together a couple of passes early on to unstick the Brisbane Roar's defence. And now battle for possession. Ivy Lewick doing well in the middle of the park. Joey Burgess taking it and just finding a little bit of room. The defence holds off her. But now Brewer loses out in turn to Haak, who can't quite release Tamika Butt, who scored a hat-trick last year in the 3-0 or the 6-0 win over Newcastle in the corresponding game. Newcastle, indeed, in that respect, have a very poor record against Brisbane, with 3 matches so far in the history of their W League, and they've yet to score a goal. They've lost 2-0, 6-0 and 4-0.
That's right. Their first meeting this season was a 4-0 win to Brisbane. Of course, they're not going to get too cocky today, though, Wilco, because this Newcastle team still has plenty to play for.
Well, they've restruck. Both sides have been forced to make a couple of positional changes, as we see Lauren Colthorpe steer it forward to Devanna in one of the rare starting appearances this year. And Lisa Devanna is an absolutely effervescent force. She has played for the Matildas 65 times and scored 24 times. She scored 3 times so far this year off the bench. And the game against Sydney FC just a couple of weeks ago, she had a welter of opportunities, but was denied by a combination of her poor finishing and also some brilliant goalkeeping by Dimi Poulos. As now an error is made, and Tamika Butt scoots forward. A chance for the Brisbane Roar. A long cross, almost too far. They're still going to attack. It was Devanna down on the byline. The ball, Burgess, she might go all the way. And the interception finally comes in the centre of the defence. So bright start from the Roar. But good defence at the back. And now Melissa Fertigel is sent away, a 2-on-1. And the pace too great at the back from Kim Carroll, putting in the long strides. And she's one of the dynamic forces in the defence for the Matildas. And she covered the ground quite comfortably on that occasion.
She makes it look easy, Wilco, doesn't she? She's a strong defender on and off the ball. Great physical attributes for a defender. Loves to come forward as well, but knows her first job is there in the defensive line.
Honey Crawford didn't quite have control of the ball, and it gives Devanna a shot. The cutback is good. The numbers are there. And Nikki Cross comes across to put it out of play, but it's going to be the Brisbane Roar with a throw-in.
Brisbane just needed a few more players attacking the ball. They're coming in. They were sitting around the edge of the box, but they just didn't run onto it with enough pace.
Now Devanna looks for the sparkling turn. Just controls it on the left peg. Lays it off to Carla Reuter, back in the side, and oh, little ricochet. Almost a nightmare for Alison Lipscher. Thea Slatcher thankfully saw it go into her hands.
Could have been very dangerous there. The keeper was expecting the shot, not so much expecting the deflection.
Now Lewick working hard. Lauren Colthorpe, time on the ball, not productive, but she wins it back again. And Kim Carroll is a real breeze blowing behind the Roar in the first half. Stephanie Brantz, that's what do you think that is, a 1-goal breeze?
I think there might be a couple in it, Wilco. Yes, there's a pretty strong breeze blowing from right to left on your screen, so it's certainly going to favour the Roar if they can keep the crosses down. And perhaps Newcastle if it stays this strong in the second half.
Well, a dizzying blow for Joey Burgess to contend with. I don't think it caught her absolutely flush, but it wasn't that comfortable.
Just see the defender trying to clear. Yeah, hits her in the shoulder. Just another way of putting your body on the line, Wilco.
Absolutely. There's Tara Andrews. She scored 7 goals so far this year, 2 behind the season's leading boot. And now Devanna is away. Devanna cuts it back beautifully. Chance for Lana Hark. Oh, the point-blank range shot is saved brilliantly by Alison Lipscher. Oh, for all money, that was going to be goal number 1 for the Brisbane Roar. But Lipscher stood her ground, and you still need reflexes, even if it comes to you tight to the body. They're hard to stop.
They sure are, and Devanna will probably be a little bit dirty on herself there. First opportunity in front of the goal. Really should have put that one low and put it away, but great work by Lipscher.
Now Devanna beautifully setting up Lana Hark, and unselfish play all round as we watch now. Nikki Cross with the ball to Hannah Brewer. Just lets it trickle out in front. She's one of the most improved players for the Jets this year. An effervescent force, lively on and off the park. Good control from Slatcher and away to Cross. That's an imposing defensive lineup. Plays it to Andrews, showing some consummate skill on the ball. Back it goes to Gemma Simon, and now some cool play from Newcastle, trying to get control of the ball in the conditions. It wasn't too good out in front of Economou, but they still managed to hang on to it. And the header down is a solid one coming in from Carla Reuter. Hasn't played for about 4 weeks. Oh, ball in. Here's Andrews now and sets it up, and it's a point-blank header missed. How could that possibly be? Oh, they need a chance like that, don't they? It was Nikki Cross who'd come forward brilliantly, and she had to bury that. That was harder to miss than get.
And we see the beautiful ball just being played through for the runner coming through. The ball coming across the goal. You thought she might have taken it herself there, but she's put it in for a teammate, and Cross has dived and put everything into it, but it's gone over the bar.
Oh, splendid play from Newcastle. That's what they're crying out for. As I was saying at the top of the show, a bad start last week. They conceded a goal after 3. They were 2 down after 18 minutes. They still only trialled 1-2 at half-time and were in the match against Canberra, but conceded a goal midway through the about 75, 76 minutes, which put the game to bed. But a goal here today against this Brisbane side, which you'd have to say has been bruised by the happenings in this fair city. It's been under the siege of flood waters, and some of the players have been assisting in the recovery. They've been distracted, you would say. They've got a couple of key omissions today, so if ever the Brisbane Roar were ripe for the plucking, it would be today.
You'd think so, but they're a team that performs really well under pressure, you're right. Going back to Newcastle, though, look, they've managed to put away 8 goals in the last 2 weeks, so it's not like they can't score. I think last week the scoreline really went Canberra's way, obviously, but didn't play full credit to the way that Newcastle has been playing.
Now, again, a vigorous battle in the middle of the park. Ivy Lewick sends it back to Laura Alloway, and they take stock to Brooke Spence, and that's where there's been a little bit of restructuring in the right side of the defensive formation with the absence of Elise Kellon-Knight, or she plays down the left, but particularly the other force in their team as we watch in Polkinghorne, as we watch Butt with a forlorn effort, the ball taken by the Breeze. But Claire Polkinghorne has been an enormous strength down that right side, oscillating between the midfield and the right back position. But she's more or less secured that right back position, but she's out injured today.
She is, but this is the advantage of having such a deep squad in Queensland or Brisbane Roar. They are wonderful at just filling in or playing out of position, and of course with that depth they have on their bench, the girls can just walk in and pick up where Polk's left off.
Well, now on the attack, the Roar out to Burgess, and stands on it neatly. It's been quite a warrior, an enticing ball into the middle, but plenty of numbers for the Jets. Slatcher heading away. Now Brewer just pumps it forward. Sort of trying to look for Hensman, who's working the right side today. up front with Furagill in the central attacking role. The ball lobbed in. Now Newcastle sort of struggling to clear, just doodling with the ball a little bit, although they win a free kick for that belated challenge on Tara Andrews. And just clipped.
Not really much in that one, I don't think. Not much movement up front there for Newcastle as this ball comes in.
Economou hoisting it high. Suggestion of a handball from Reuters. She almost gave herself up. She hasn't played for about 4 weeks. She had a straight red card. Oh, that's a great tackle from Furagill, and the ball with a little bit too much weight on it all the way across the face of goal. A couple of bright moments for the Newcastle Jets suggest the team is right up for this match. They did arrive here last night. It's Maddie Searle wearing the number 15, hugging the left side today for the Jets. So they've got some strength to come on the bench today too, the Jets, should the game not go according to plan. But they've gone with a real attacking formation, hopefully to try and penetrate. Well, it's a fine ball forward and a hard one to control, and Butt did well. Nikki Cross, the header was effective on that occasion. Gee, she rue that miss in front of goal.
Beautiful ball.
Beautiful ball through, and a big chance now. The cross from Davana. Oh, Butts! Oh, the ricochet almost went in, but it's clipped her on the side of the head and decked her. And a show of support from the crowd here today. And that is well, it was a nasty blow too. Davana's cross was a beauty, and it was just that first touch that eluded her.
And sadly, for all the effort, it's going to be a goal kick for Newcastle anyway.
So both teams sort of clinging on a little bit in defence.
It's good to see it's not going to be a one-sided affair like the last game. We've seen a couple of chances from both teams. Just climbing over the top there to give away the free kick.
The referee today, Catherine Hoffman, doing consecutive games for the W League on ABC television around the nation. The header down to Economou, coming from Slatcher. And they do look solid at the back, but perhaps lacking just that metre of pace, which could sort them out as the afternoon progresses.
It's interesting that Lisa Davana is starting the game. I know she started last week for the first time this season. Usually they use her as a substitute, and her injection of pace is what really makes a difference against a tired defence.
Brewer intercepts. Young talents rising force in this team. And, talking away through the early part of this game, the 17-year-old. Carroll, the speculator forward. Burgess battling away with Hensman. And, just pumped downfield by Crawford. Well, not much room to move. Crawford tries to slide it down the edge. Neat control from Furagill. Pumps it into the back of Lewick. Reuter. 49 Matildas internationals to a credit.
Stealing the ball there is a perfect example of what Brisbane does really well. They've come in, Furugill's all by herself. They've surrounded her with 3 players and managed to steal the ball, turn out nice and easily, and find one of their own.
But across to Lauren Colthorpe, who'll try and make the middle of the park her own today. Burgess. Good marking by Newcastle, as a little trip and a miss from Davana. And the frustration, momentary, one hopes. A couple of the young supporters here today. Future Raw player, perhaps, of the male and female variety, the Brisbane Raw, setting the standard in the A-League this year. It's an extremely congested midfield today. And both teams going at it hard. Brisbane playing for the premiership, or the minor premiership in another sense, first past the post, which would give them a home grand final should they then go on to win the semi-final, but that's all a little bit speculative at the moment. If Sydney FC win their next 2 games, today's and next week's, they will finish with the minor premiership. So maybe there's a modicum of acceptance from the Brisbane. Who knows? At least Kellon Knight, apart from suffering a little training a mishap before the game last week, which prevented her, or she took part in the game, but it's prevented her taking part in today's game. She was also on 2 yellow cards, so there is that slight niggle in the back of the mind that she could incur another one next week and then miss the first semi-final. And Kellon Knight has been one of the absolute stoic forces in this Brisbane Roar side this year.
She certainly matured a lot since last season, even though she picked up the award at the ceremony last year. Look, she's definitely a star of the future, one to watch for many years to come.
Now Carroll to Reuter. She'd be one who'd love to get a crack at Germany this year, sitting on 49 A internationals for the Matildas.
She'll be right there in the mix, I think you'll find. But Tommy Smarty will have one heck of a job ahead of him this year.
Yes, it's not going to be an easy battle. Lots of strikers in form, and lots of defenders who've really, with their performances up in Asia, have made the positions hard to snatch away from them.
Sure will be, and especially with the likes of a few midfielders finding their way back in the defensive line during the W League season. It just puts them instead in Tommy's mind as, well, she can play in the midfield and she can play in the defence, so, you know, good bet either way.
Brewer to Hensman, and Carroll comes in to make the ball hers. Good challenge, authoritative as always. Colthorpe to Devanna, and she loves to take them on. And can't quite get on the outside of Gemma Simon. Well, Newcastle defending grimly. They look to have stitched it up a little bit better at the back. Oh, but Tamika Butt, can she surge in behind? No, they're very well organised at the moment, Newcastle.
The defence is doing a great job to hold firm with the Brisbane attack. The likes of Devanna usually would turn there and go straight at the defence, but she's been held up a few times, and now she's in 2 minds about, do I hold the ball, play it back and try and get one over the top, or do I turn and take her on myself?
Carroll, good battle for possession. Brewer. And Brewer going hard and winning the exchange too. So that's a plus for the Jets and a chance for them to go on to the attack. They've had one clear-cut opportunity so far. Nikki Cross, the 25-year-old from the United States, with 2 players from that nation to come and join the Jets this year to strengthen their side in terms of experience. Hensman looking to find the mark on the cross. Oh, it was hanging in the air for a delectable amount of time. Ferrigill with the shot. And that's not going to trouble the 3rd-string Australian goalkeeper at the moment, Casey Dumont. And 3rd by not too much.
Interesting scenario there, Wilco. We saw almost all of the Raw team back in the penalty box behind the ball, yet 3 or 4 of the Jets players were still holding firm, waiting for that, you know, off-the-ball quick attack.
So Wayne O'Sullivan setting the tone today. He wants them forward, and the Jets want to Raw want to respond too with goals at the other end as well. They want to put the points on the board and make Sydney FC earn the premiership. They first past the post. Now this looks promising from the Raw, but tries to dink it into the area, but with the wind and a little bit too much weight on the ball, that's too far in front of Lana Hark to make a difference. 20 minutes gone. Brisbane and Newcastle 0-0 at Ballymore. If you've just joined the coverage, great to have your company in the sunny, windy Brisbane. Contrast to a couple of weeks ago. The pain still being felt. That's a magnificent ball in, and the shot from Hensman not matching the ball in. She might have taken a little bit more time on the ball. Another player who's spent some time in the United States.
She did a great job to lose her defender there. The ball was perfectly placed. Just take a little bit more time, a little bit more composure on the ball and try and get over the top of that one and put a real strike behind it.
Well, finding some space wide on the right is Butt. And that willingness to take on the defence. The ball across just goes out in front of Lisa Devanna. Oh, Burgess with a magnificent 720, 2 pirouettes par excellence, and Devanna tips to the far post, but slides it over the top. Oh, fine movement from the Brisbane Roar, and the finish wasn't too far away with a difficult volley.
And a great example of not giving up on the ball. We see Devanna there putting the ball just over the defence and the volley not quite coming off. But a good example from Joey Burgess of not just letting the ball run out and being satisfied to have the throw-in. She chased after it. She got a body in front, had some beautiful footwork to get the ball back to Devanna to put that cross in.
Hensman from the northern beaches of Sydney doing a double marketing business degree in orthopaedic sales, or she has done. That's her pursuits when she's not playing football. Oh, there's another Falcon, and that is a painful one from Hannah Brewer. She gets up. She'd do the boxing ring proudly with a reaction like that to a blow, and now she starts up the engine. Lays it off beautifully. Economou has a chance to size it up in the middle. Header clear by Spence. And they do that with relative ease, the Brisbane Roar. And now they move ominously forward. Devanna, she might take a chance to strike here. Burgess has made the run, and the through ball, oh, enticingly out in front. Again, just not getting the weight right on some of the final balls.
And as we see Devanna here and Joey Burgess making the run in behind the defender, but the ball just a little bit too much weight. They'll be disappointed with that because they've worked all this week on finishing and putting balls to feet in that final third so that they get good chances on goal and can make sure that they count.
Spence. Ivy Lewick challenged viciously in the middle, vigorously by Cross. And the ball bounces to the Jets. There. Intercepted well by Colthorpe. And it's Colthorpe and Brewer. And the challenge goes in from Brewer. She knew she'd made the error. She was unrelenting in her battle with a more senior and experienced player. And a potential Matilda at the top level. There was the handball, which was a definite handball. They play on, and Butt again takes the defence on. Oh, the cross is a beautiful one. Far post, Burgess slams it over the top.
It's taken a deflection to go over the bar there, so Brisbane will get the corner here. Gorgeous ball coming in from Tamika Butt over the back of the defence. Joey Burgess just waiting perfectly for the shot. But the defender coming across just in time.
Gee, it was barely a deflection. She seemed to be part of the shirt from Economou, but it still counted. The referee in a good position. Now can Brisbane steal a goal and take the lead? Crossing near post from Burgess. Oh, the header slides by across the face of goal. Laura Alloway up there and making an impact too.
Watch the ball come in here from Burgess towards the front post, hoping for the little flick back to someone coming in on the far post, but unfortunately no Queensland players there.
Well, still a bold effort from Laura Alloway, who's played once at the senior level for the Matildas, and there's another certainly in the mind of Tom Samani, one of those fringe candidates. And you never know, if you keep putting out the performances on the park, you don't want to wheel injuries on anyone, but those sorts of things can occur. Injuries, desire, loss of form, you've got to keep putting your best foot forward out on the park. So there's great incentive for the players with the World Cup in Germany this year and the Matildas team to be selected by Tom Samani.
Something that Brisbane does very well. Playing out one side of the field, brings it back into the centre through the defence, and now they'll go out the other side.
Carroll. Beautiful ball to Burgess and rolls it to the feet of Devanna. And the turn, well, Burgess was making the run. Forward it goes to Lewick. She's just bumped off the ball unceremoniously, Ivy Lewick. And Colthorpe won't be happy with the end result. She was thinking about Tamika Butt, but in the end she bisected the keeper and Butt. And it will be a goal kick. 26 minutes gone in the match and still no score.
There isn't, but interestingly, Queensland seems to be, or Brisbane seems to be starting to get a grips on this game. They've been in the penalty area of the opposition 11 times compared to Newcastle's 5 now.
Lipscher, who's made that one fantastic save so far. Point-blank range against Lana Haak. And at the other end, the real opportunity coming from her American compatriot. And Nikki Cross, she had a point-blank range header that she couldn't put on target. That would have been a great start for Newcastle today. Now they've won the ball back again in the middle of the park. Cross, well, not accurate enough with the pass, and that lunge is going to be penalised with the yellow card, perhaps. Well, that's a pretty harsh penalty. She got a large slice of the ball, but she came in from behind the player.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one. Well, I think that she definitely came in and lunged at the ball, but it will be interesting to see if she actually got more of the ball and less of the player. Been a few rough hits out there today. A few have made the referee blow a whistle, a few haven't.
But good skill. Can she match it with the cross? But far post. Burgess was there too, but it was taken out over the byline by Carly Economou, and it was a brave piece of defending from the youngster.
See that cross coming in from Tamika, but she's out there facing the sideline, and it's so rare that you get these great players turn on the ball and manage to whip in across and with pinpoint accuracy find the players on the other side of the field.
Devanna. Semi cleared away. Lewick battles hard. Brings out Haak, chips it forward to nobody. So Newcastle resisting the challenge of the Brisbane Roar so far. The competition leaders, they're poised at the top. Played 9, they've won 6, drawn 2, lost just the one game, and that was the first game of the year to Sydney. They've since repaid the favour with a defeat over the then competition leaders. They've scored 17 goals. They probably could have scored 27 or 37. A couple of the matches, they've really had the majority of the possession and shots at goal. And they put 4 past Newcastle last time. Brilliant ball forward again. Devanna just lays it back delectably, but had a chance to launch the shot. It's still there. Haak tries to be cute, and it doesn't pay off.
Perhaps one instance where Lana Haak could have been a little bit selfish there, taken the touch and had a shot. She was looking for her teammates to run through.
The most pleasing aspect of the game so far for visiting coach Wayne O'Sullivan would be the defence. I think they've managed to get in behind a couple of times, but largely they've stemmed the tide, and in turn they've presented a couple of opportunities. Can they still resist and marshal the troops at the back? Thea Slatcher working hard. Haak. And numbers back. Hannah Brewer going back in that defensive role to lend some assistance and holding midfield today, but she's dropping back and really sewing up a few of those holes as well. Ferragil, just a bit of a deflection onto Hensman. Nice turn inside Reuter. Andrews, good turn in turn. That's going to be a free kick. Laura Alloway clumsily falling at the feet of the attacker.
She just got a little bit carried away there. Alloway, it would have been nice just to see her standing, holding the player, making the player make a decision. Newcastle only had the 2 players up front at that stage. They had to do it all by themselves, so the defence could have just sat tight and held on and waited for the mistake.
In Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, we see some drinks. It's a scheduled or unscheduled drinks break due to an injury over there. There are no drinks breaks today. It is that sort of day here in Brisbane, and there they are, the Withcott Wildcats. And Withcott, a flood-barreled town at the base of the Toowoomba Range on the Warrego Highway. And the kids have come out today to be part of the activity and to also keep the awareness going of the flood and the damage and the pain. And their sporting club was severely damaged too, and sport are quite often a microcosm of life in a crisis. They want when the club gets back into gear and gets everything going again, so too lives are back on track. They're there with the president, Colin Crawford, today, and the bucket's going to be taken around at half-time by the Raw players, the Brisbane Raw men. There's the Premier's appeal, the flood relief appeal at the bottom of the screen. You can still contribute. The Brisbane Raw players, they're on a pittance, these women's footballers. Not even a couple of $100 a week, probably, not even that. And yet they've managed to raise $2,000, the Brisbane Raw players, the women's players, and they're giving that to the appeal. And they're some of the A-League team, the competition leaders. Ball into the area, the Jets have a chance. And so it all continues. It was... I hesitate to say eerie, but kind of strange flying into Brisbane today and looking just at the amount and the colour of the water. All the damage wasn't apparent from the air, but you could feel that great presence of what has occurred over the last couple of weeks, which has really awoken the nation, and the nation has launched terrific support in aid of the victims of flood damage. Now,
going to see a sub here. Maddie Searle's gone off on the other side of the field, and she's walking around. The substitute to come on is going to be the number 10 shortly.
Now, away goes Lana Hark. And beautifully into the path now of Davanna. Davanna looking for a one-on-one opportunity. Holds it up. Chops it back beautifully. Oh, Lewick, maybe the first timer. She balked at the chance. Well, Lewick still dawdling on the ball, but it's punched into the area. Finally chopped away by Crawford. Well, they were reluctant to shoot, it seemed. Lewick had a glorious chance to just drive hard at goal and take the opportunity.
She sure did, and as the ball came in, I think she just saw a wall of Newcastle Jets defenders right in front of her.
But hugging the right, giving great width. Oh, the cross is a beauty. Oh, it's beaten 3 players. Oh, the keeper included, and Joey Burgess wasn't quite on the mark. Lewick in tight. That's a beautiful ball at the feet of Hark. Spoons it out to Burgess, pumps it into the far post. And it comes off heads for a goal kick.
Newcastle should pat themselves on the back there. Maddie Searle still walking around the outside of the field. They played that entire few minutes with just 10 players.
Now, we've got a replacement here, Stephanie. This is occurring.
We certainly do, Leah Smith. As you heard earlier, Amy mentioned that Maddie Searle had gone off on the other end of the pitch. She's limping around this side now, not looking too happy about the injury she's picked up. I'll find out more about that in just a moment. But yes, Leah Smith's gone on.
Well, that's bad luck for Maddie Searle, another promising youngster given a chance today. You don't want to be hobbling off after 34 minutes. And she's forced her way into the side over the last couple of weeks. As we watch now, again, that tenacious battle in the middle of the field. These two teams going hard at it. Just one round to go next week before the semi-finals. Brisbane sitting atop the table. Newcastle battling for a semi-final position. They're currently looking as though they're going to miss out. But if they can somehow steal a result today against the Brisbane Raw, maybe even a point could see them with a mathematical chance, but a win would put them in a pretty solid position. Brisbane next week don't have a match, and so they're going to be involved in a game with some of the young up-and-comers in the youth program up in Brisbane here, and the men. So that should be an engaging sort of breakout match for them as they try to keep up their fitness for the semi-finals. Spence working again powerfully, but some of the passes not finding the mark.
Sometimes coaches see that break before the final series as a bonus. Other coaches obviously think that it can do more damage than good.
Callaway. Spence. Direct ball to Devanna, right at the feet of Devanna. Classy play, but an equally good bit of defending back there by Crawford.
Crawford and Slatcher have done a great job today so far to keep a hold of Lisa Devanna.
Slatcher going to launch the long ranger, but sadly none of her teammates read the movement. Tara Andrews and Kate Hensman lingering. That ball is out of play. Throw in the Newcastle Jets. 36 minutes gone and another player down injured. This is a measure, Stephanie Brantz, of the vigour with which this game is being played today.
Yeah, we're going to have a chat to them about that at half-time because it's been quite a robust battle in the middle of the field. It's interesting to see, Wilco. You remember that first game we saw with Newcastle and Brisbane? Newcastle really paid Brisbane a lot of respect, if you like, and Sully's got Newcastle so well drilled. They're really keeping their shape, and they're a much hardier team than we saw at the beginning of the season, and they're really giving Brisbane a good battle. And well, it's evens at the moment. We've got Searle in the sheds at the moment, and over the other side of the park, a Brisbane player.
Yeah, it's Lisa Devanna, and Lisa Devanna was a bit of a twisting, and she was caught and then looked to be trodden on.
Yeah, she just copped a few kicks, not just one, a couple of kicks around the ankles, and it's actually quite a sensitive area when you really cop one right with the toe.
Lisa Devanna, who broke her leg in ordinary circumstances up in the Asian Cup against China, challenging the goalkeeper.
It was a nasty challenge, wasn't it?
A nasty result as well.
Talking to the players before this game, they were saying how pumped they were, how ready they were. The Queensland girls were really disappointed last week, so obviously out to make amends for their draw. Newcastle, on the other hand, you mightn't think they have a lot to play for, but they certainly believe they can still make the semi-finals, and they're out to prove that today.
Stephanie.
Yeah, just a word from the Newcastle hospital ward down here. Maddie Searle is apparently having a few problems with her knee. They're checking it out now to find out how serious it is.
Ball headed away. Crawford, the captain of this Newcastle Jets outfit, and all poise and concentration today. Just 6.5, 7 minutes to go, plus a bit of time added on before half-time. And Brisbane with Hark. Early ball in. But, Lisa Devanna is still receiving attention, so she wasn't there. Cross. Crawford. And seemed to come off the hand of Carla Reuter, or at least it's gone out of play, so a throw in. Possession of the Jets. What can they conjure up in the last few minutes of this half? Andrews leaps and misses. Colthorpe, cool as you like. Burgess, a forest of Newcastle players up ahead, but she tries to slide one through to pick up Burgess with the run, and it was well read by Thea Slatcher, who's getting up towards 50 internationals at a senior A level for the Matildas as well. Colthorpe. Lewick. Hark has scored from there. But will she take it this time? Tamika Butt, she has a crack. Not sure whether that caught any part of Alison Lipshaw. It didn't, and so Tamika Butt, for one of the few times today, shows a bit of selfishness and has a crack, and it wasn't bad.
Wasn't a bad effort. She also had Avi Lewick right in the centre of the goal to pick up any deflections, and a couple of players on the outside of the box ready to have a crack as well.
Jets. Ferrigill. Pass. Just taking it a little belatedly. And they move forward. Burgess has made another long run. Hark tries to lay it off to Devanna, who's recovered from the little tread on the foot program.
It's probably just an excuse for a breather, Wilco.
Well, it's been a warm day in Brisbane today. The breeze helping the players at various points. But I'd say there'll be a heavy fatigue factor given the way they're going at each other. Ferrigill. Slatcher. And she might want to diddle around.
I think Newcastle's just struggling at the moment. When they push forward, their two strikers are sitting right on the defensive line and still facing the inside of the field. They really need to get sideways, get outside or inside their defender and make a run for the ball. Either come off and pick it up and lay it off, or get one put in over the top.
That's when the injured player, Maddie Searle, she injured a knee in the pre-season. Had a bit of a tear of the anterior cruciate, and which are healed naturally. Now, to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure which leg that was, but you'd have to say it might be the same injury. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not a recurrence. Burgess trying to set up a goal. And this is promising again. Burgess lays it off here, and Devanna off the post. Oh. Unbelievably so, the luck continues of the bad variety for Lisa Devanna. She had 5 or 6 amazing attempts against Sydney FC a couple of weeks ago. She's beaten the keeper and everyone for all money. That's going into the bottom left corner.
You so thought so. I was holding my breath. I thought it was in. I thought Newcastle did a great job there. They had 8 players behind the ball. They looked like they had everyone covered, but Devanna's speed just got her in behind and gave her the opportunity for the shot.
Now Kim Carroll lurches up into the area. Far post ball, and Lipsha does well. Leaps high to take it and secure the moment. And it would be a confidence boost for Newcastle to go in 0-0 at half-time with the competition leaders.
I'd say their coach, Wayne O'Sullivan, will be really happy with the result so far. Of course, he'd love to be in front, but 0-0 against, you know, the ladder leaders is not a bad result after a half's worth of play.
Crawford, Brewer, lead skill. Cross, looking for Hensman, in the way is Reuter. Now Burgess to make a butt, coming across to the left side to get involved in the play. They like switching. The Brisbane Roar team, the Burgess operates on both the right and left. And again, Newcastle working hard. Slatcher goes for the short ball. No, Brewer does brilliantly well. And the idea was great. Looking for Hensman, she'd made the run. And now the response comes, and Brewer, who got more of the ball, let's play on, a little bit of advantage. Good decision from the referee. A little bit of pain, but not too much. Ivy Lewick, can she find the mark in the centre? Lewick near post, hoofed away by the Jets. And so in the closing moments of this first half of action, it's going to be a chance for the Brisbane Roar. And all of a sudden, Newcastle, the confidence not entirely with the defensive arrangement. Can they clear it? They concede yet another throw-in? No, it has taken a ricochet, and so fortune favours the Newcastle Jets. Lana Hark, one of the prolific scorers for this Brisbane Roar side across its 3-year history. 2 minutes of time added on in the first half. Now, that's not going to trouble Reuter. Slatcher, to have played many times in the defence for the Matildas. They're in opposition today. Brooke Spence with the chase back. Leah Smith chases hard, and that takes a deflection in turn. So a Brisbane Roar throw in.
The players would be now saying, box her in there, keep them in there, Newcastle, push them and don't let them out, get the ball back, and let's try and put a couple into the box before the end of the half.
Savannah. Oh, beats the same player twice. Smith.
The skill is mesmerising.
Yes, he's a prolific entertainer as well as a great attacking force for the Matildas and for indeed now the Brisbane Roar, coming here from the Perth Glory this year. Alloway. Again, great width from the Brisbane Roar team. Hark hugging the right, Devanna, and also Butt in the centre. Hark takes on the defence, and the cross with not too much weight and height, but just enough to clear everyone and the crossbar. Well, that should be just about it. Alison Lipscher soaking up the remaining time in the first half. And Newcastle will be happy to go in at 0-0. 25 seconds to go. Crawford.
You can tell players starting to get a little bit tired out there. They'll be looking for this break. When the long balls start coming more regularly, you know that there's not as many options in short and close. So you can tell that the girls are certainly feeling the heat, and obviously after a full half's play, and they have been going at each other pretty hard. They're starting to tire.
Well, they've spoken too soon. One last chance, perhaps, for the Brisbane Roar. And it's chipped and not cleared. Concentration lacking. And now they're vulnerable, the Jets. Here goes Hark. Slides it in. And a beautiful save from Lipscher for a corner. Surely they don't have time to take this corner. Time is gone. But Hark with the angled shot. Brilliant save.
Look at the angles that these girls are shooting on, you know. Anyone can really put a ball away from in front of the goal, you would hope. But these girls are confident enough that they can go on such an acute angle and still have a shot and still manage to find the target.
Well, if they concede a goal here, Wayne O'Sullivan will be filthy. And there is a chance, but that is going to be half-time. There was an extra 40 seconds added on over the 2 minutes. They're the moments that are coach killers, as Lauren Colthorpe slightly exasperated as well as exhausted. The Matilda, the former Newcastle area-born player. She comes off the field, troops off, playing for the Brisbane Roar and playing with great poise and determination. 0-0 at half-time. As we look at the statistics of play, Amy Taylor.
Well, as we see here, Brisbane has had more of the possession with 63% compared to Newcastle's 37%. The time in opposition half is quite even. Corners for Brisbane. They haven't managed to put any away, but they've had more shots on goal. Most of them around the same on target. But look at those balls in the penalty area. Massive difference there. Queensland, 21 opportunities in that penalty area, as opposed to the Newcastle Jets, just 6. And I think you'll find most of the Jets' opportunities came in the first 10, maybe 15 minutes of the game, Wilco.
Well, that is a stunning statistic. The game didn't entirely feel like that as we head down to the edge of the field. Joey Burgess with Stephanie Brantz.
Yeah, Joey Burgess. It's been a pretty tough battle out there in the middle, hasn't it?
Well, it has really been giving it to us in there, putting high early pressure on us, which is making it hard for us to play.
It certainly could have got it. Well, probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals there. It just doesn't want to go in for you.
I know. We just need a bit more composure in the final third with our shooting and stuff. So hopefully we can score a few goals in the second half.
Extra pressure because you've got the bye next week. Do you want those points for the hope of getting the premiership?
Yeah, we desperately want these points today. So hopefully we can come out in the second half and really give it to them more.
Good stuff. We'll go and take a break, Joe. Thanks for chatting to us. And, of course, neither of these sides had a spectacular result last week, but there was still plenty of highlights, so let's take a look at the best of them from round 10 of the Westfield W League.
Perth's Matildas came to the forefront early against Adelaide at Hindmarsh Stadium as Colette McCallum lofted a dangerous ball in for Sam Kerr to delicately guide into the back of the net.
Seemed to catch